Okay, I'm going to talk through the straps. The pattern has you make your own straps, and this is steps 11 through 14, and I will get to that. However, I told you could buy your own straps of webbing, and in that case, I just want to talk to you about how long each needs to be. Or perhaps you don't have enough fabric. So if you see here, I've got a pink fabric because I ran out of my other fabric because of cutting errors and things like that. Actually, I never had enough fabric to begin with. I snuck out what I could out of the fabric I had. So what we have here is we have this pattern piece and strap 18, and it says to cut 4. And the reason it wants us to cut 4 is it wants to take 2 of these and attach them the short end together to make 1 strap. So 2 straps, each of 2 of these pieces. You can pin and cut the pattern piece, that's fine. Or if you've got a rotary cutter, it might just be faster and easier for you to figure out what the dimensions of this is. So this is 4 inches wide, and then by folding it in half, I'm gonna find out that it is 22 inches long. So double to that because it's folded over right now, it's 44 inches long. Most fabrics are about this width. So really what you need to do is you need to cut strips that are 4 inches wide by width of fabric, most of the time.
Most fabrics are about 45.
44,
right?
45.
40, 45.
Yeah, so if yours is a little short of this, don't worry.
It's not going to make a difference,
fine.
right?
But I have this fabric that, on the other hand, is clearly, like, so if this is 44 inches wide, I'm still got more beyond this. So this is what is a 60-inch wide fabric. Sorry, wide this way. I can cut 2 and still put them together. I'd end up with something longer than I needed. Or I can cut 3, cut 1 in half, and do 1 in 1/2 and 1 another. This is asking you to ultimately wind up with a strap for the way it's folded. You need a strap that is about 1 inch wide they want you to have a strap that is 88 inches long. I will say that kind of depends. If you want the straps to be permanently sewn into the corners of the bag so that they're always there, you do need to make something that is about 1 inch wide by 88 inches long. I'd say anywhere 80 to 90 inches long. If you have clips.
And that's ×2, or that's 1 because it'll run all the way through?
No, that's ×2.
Okay.
2 straps that are about 1 inch wide by 80 to 90 inches long.
Okay.
In another post, I pointed out that I bought some things at the Dollar Tree. I could only find 2 instead of 4. And so if you have a clip or something, I can show you how to make straps that are 48 inches long work, but you have to have a clip or something like this that will detach from the bottom of the bag. The reason...
Was this one of the dog leashes from the dollar store?
It was. They are exactly 48 inches long.
Okay.
The reason being is ultimately our straps are going to run through here and clip in here. If you don't have a clip, then when you open this bag up, it will bunch up like this. So you won't ever be able to fully open your bag. The reason, if it's going to be a short strap, you need the clip so that when you unclip it, it releases from the side. If that doesn't all make a lot of sense, that's fine. Hopefully you'll see it illustrated in a little bit. But if you could either have 2 straps that are about 1 inch wide and between 80 to 90 inches long, or you can go as short as 2 straps that are each at least 48 inches long, still by the same, about 1 inch or 1.5 inches wide, but you need 2 clips or something that detaches.
So why does the pattern want 4 inches, but you're talking about 1 inch to 1.5 inches?
Oh, that's because you're making them, and we'll show you that in a step. But yeah, so if you bought webbing, you can stop this video and you can proceed to the next step because you've already made it. Now what I'm going to do from here on out is show you how to make straps out of the fabric.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have fabric and you want to know how to make your straps, continue. If you've got webbing, stop here, move on to the next.
So the 1 inch and 1.5 inches is, if you are like, that's going to be the dimension of the thing that you already purchased.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Stay tuned for how to make straps.
Okay. Okay. New video?
No.
Same video.
Same video.
Sorry.
I'm going to actually work with this fabric because it is
more appropriately wide.
No, I'm going to work with this because if you have a wider one, just know that you don't have to cut as many. So, I'm actually measuring, because this edge is frayed here, it is folded selvage to selvage, and that's good. But I'm going to cut a little bit more than 4 inches so I can come back over here and clean up this edge. So I'm squaring my ruler up here with the fold line because it's opposite of the selvage, but I'm going to cut on through. And because my fabric is 60 inches wide, you only need 3 of these straps. So I'm gonna go ahead, now I can cut exactly at 4 inches because this is a nice clean edge on this one. So I'm not worried about this. Now I'm squaring up with 4 inches here. So this is strap number 2.
So because you need 88 times 2, you're doing 60 times 3. And that covers you.
Kind of.
By plenty.
So out of these 3 pieces, I'm going to take one and cut it in half.
Yeah.
To apply to each side.
I see.
Whereas.
So you're not worried about the exactly 88?
No, I'm not worried.
Okay.
It's like in the range of 80 inches to 90.
I mean, it just kind of depends on where you want the bag to sit. If you're throwing it over your shoulder, right? Or.
Yeah, exactly. A longer strap will mean that when the bag is cinched up, it will sit lower here.
Yeah.
Shorter means it'll sit higher up.
Gotcha.
If you're in doubt, always make 2 long because you can try it on before you sew the straps into that seam.
That's true. You can always
cut
shorten, but it's harder to add length,
so I've got 3 strips here.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to do is clean up this raw edge, and like I said, I cut at more than 4 inches so I could go back and clean this edge up. So this is how I'm doing that.
Something I'm learning from this class is that rotary cutter is pretty darn valuable.
Yeah, you said my favorite tool was the sewing ripper, the seam ripper, but
yeah, and I changed my mind.
It might be the rotary cutter.
That was a smart aleck comment.
No, it was actually pretty perceptive. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm cutting off the selvages, so you just have to cut off the edge because they work a little differently than the rest of the fabric. So cut all the selvages off your pieces. Like I said, if you're working with if you're working with the more narrow type of fabric, you'll cut 4 of these straps, but because I am working with a wider fabric, I'm going to cut 3 and do 1.5 for each.
Is selvage and raw edge the same?
No, they're
thing?
Exactly opposite.
Oh.
So a raw edge is any cut edge on the fabric.
Okay.
And a selvage is a bound edge that comes off from each side of the loom. But when I cut the selvage off, it technically becomes a raw edge now.
I see.
Okay. So I've got 3 straps, and because I'm using 1.5 for each, I'm going to cut one of these in half. If you're working with 2, just pretend that this piece represents a whole long piece, and this is your other piece. So step 11 wants you to match up the short sides here, and sew at 1/2 inch. I haven't traded out my thread yet. So you're gonna sew along the short edge to put 2 straps together. Okay. You are going to take this to your ironing board and you're gonna butterfly this open first, because you don't want more of the bulk to be on one side than the other. But then you come here and just the whole length of the strap, you are gonna fold it in half and press. And this is one where you could use that steam if you want to. Then you open it up, and we press this whole way just to find the midpoint. So we put these to center. You can press again at this point, or you can just fold it over and do it in one go. It's up to you. I'm gonna actually start at this end. This is what your handy dandy little gray tool does in your in the package I sent you, but it doesn't work on 4-inch wide fabric. It works on 2-inch wide fabric. So yes, if this seems reminiscent for you, it is like we made the straps for the first mask. We did the pleated one.
I remember that.
Okay, do this the whole length. All right, you know what? I'm gonna speed up here because you can imagine me doing this the whole thing, right? Yes? So once you've got it folded in half, and I wanna make my edges really nice and match each other, then so there's a fold there's one edge where it's folded once and one where it's folded twice. Oh, see, that's messy. I'm gonna go back and correct that. Maybe a reason to fold the center first, not do both at once. Yeah, okay. Hold the center first and then fold in half.
It takes a little longer, but you make sure that you do it right.
Yes, the time you spend now is gonna save you in grief in the end of being like, oh, I didn't make this right. Okay, when you've done this the whole way, along this edge that opens up, you want to go and stitch along this edge.
All the way down.
Yep. If you want, you can go ahead and stitch on the other edge just to make it look more symmetrical and aesthetically pleasing, but that's up to you.
That stitch would be non-functioning other than visual
decorative.
Appeal.
Correct.
Gotcha.
I am not going to make these straps. I'm going to show from here on out with webbing straps. So.
Okay.